Hi, welcome to another tutorial on the 2013 IGCSE Edexcel ICT exam. This is the Activity 2 tutorial, the walkthrough. And in this tutorial, as you can see, you're using database software, which in this case we're using Microsoft Access. There's a suggested time of 45 minutes to complete the task. Jonathan Wild has created a database called Safari to store details of the animals and sponsors. The database contains 3 tables: animal, sponsor, and donation. And we need to open the Safari database, and then it tells us to open the sponsor table. Now, in this, if I go to the design view of this table, I'll see all the field names and the type of data that can be stored in that database. It very much matches this table here. Okay, so they're very similar. Of course, I've changed the names from F name to first name, L name to last name. Add 1 to address 1, add 2 to address 2, P code to postcode, and DOB to date of birth to make it a bit more easier to understand. So if I go to view, I want to, I'm in the table view. So I've got each record in this database here. This tells me one item of data. For example, this record's about Dr. Christopher Davidson. This one here is about Ms. Ruth Hillhouse. Now, Jonathan wants you to add a new sponsor to the sponsor table. Add these sponsor details to the database. And to add a record, we just scroll to the very bottom where we see the star. Now, we can't fill in the new part because that's an automated field. Okay, that's going to go up 1 each time as I add a new record. So I will start in the next one here. And I've got to put, it says here, Mrs. Jane, her initial is J, and her last name is Smith. The address, 3 High Street. The town is Windymore. The postcode is HH6 6HY. The phone number is 01203. Hope I've spelled that right. 454 647. And finally, the date of birth is 7th of February 1979. But when doing that, just look to see the order. This goes day, month, year. If you see yours going larger numbers, over 12 in the second column, that means it goes month, day, year, the American system. So just be aware of that. So here, 07/02/1979. Okay? Then it tells us to sort the sponsor table in descending order of date of birth. So I make it bigger, scroll to the very top, and click on date of birth, and I go oldest to newest, and that's sorted it. Okay, go back to the exam paper. It says save the spreadsheet, save the sponsor table, so right click and save. Make sure all the columns are big enough, so click on the top corner, go between the 2 fields and double click so they're the right size. Going back to the PDF, it says open a new Word document and set the orientation to landscape. So we go over to the Word document, we create a new Word document, and when we create it, new document, page layout, orientation, landscape, and we then need to add task DB1 and our name in our footer. So insert, down the bottom, task, DV1, middle I can remove, and over here, oops, we write our full name. And you save it, task DB1. File, save as, browse, we go to the desktop, and we save it as task DB1. You save as you go along, so you should have loads of files. Don't just save them once and save over them because you may need them again. Okay? So then it says, save the word processing document, copy and paste the sponsor table into task DB1, and make sure it all fits, resave and print. So we just paste the, oh, wrong one. We go to the Word document, Control-C on the text file, the table, Control-V, so we paste it all in. Does it fit a page? Yes. File, save, file, print. And then that is the first part. Okay? Okay, so we just print that. The second one, of course, we close that. Task DB2, open a new document using word processing software, very similar to before. And this time, set the orientation to landscape. Put in task DB2 and your name in the footer. Task DB2 and your name in the footer. Okay, and make sure you change it to landscape. Okay, which should appear. Yeah, that's on landscape. And we save that as file, save as task DB2. Like so. Minimize that for a moment. I'm going to close this and save it. Oh no, I don't want the clipboard. Go back to the PDF file. It says here, Jonathan wants a list of sponsors who are less than 16 years old. It does say born after the 1st of July 1997. All the fields need to be displayed. Use the sponsor table. So of course, to search it, we need to use create query design. We're asking a question. We're going to use the sponsor table and we want all the fields. Okay, so we just double click on all the fields here. Like so. Now, we know the date of birth that we want is all those that are born after 1st of July 97. So of course we go into the criteria row down here and we say after 1st July, so 1/7/97, and then you go to view and you'll see all those born after the 1st of July 1997. Okay, and it says here save the query as DB2a, so I right click, save, DB2a, save, and also copy and paste the data to your Word document. So just Control-C and paste it. And it should appear. So if I go back, I can close this file. Going on, Jonathan wants a list of sponsors whose title is Mr. and who have a postcode beginning with H4. Tells us the fields we want and we need to use the sponsor table. So again, create, query design, sponsor table, and this time I need certain fields. Okay, so I need title, initial, last name, address 1, address 2, and postcode. And it tells us I want to have Mr. So I go to view, I can see all the data. Mr's in the title field. So I go back to view, and in the criteria, I put Mr. View, and I found all those Mr. Now I go back to view, and I want to find all those that have a postcode that begin HH4. Now this is a bit trickier. We have to use what's called a wildcard. So in the postcode criteria, I can type HH4. But in order to have it start, I need to use a wildcard, and that's the time symbol. So I say HH4 star. So I say anything that starts with HH4 will be found. So I go back to view, and you'll find all the fields that start HH4 by using the star symbol. Okay? And so here it tells us save the query as DB2b, right click, DB2b, copy and paste the results into task DB2b, and then make sure you resave it and you can print it. So click, Control C, go back to Word, Control V, and then I just go File and Save. And of course, File and Print. I'm going to close that one. Close this one. Okay, DB, so that was that one. Now let's have a look at task DB3. Open a new word processing new document using word processing software. So let's open up a new document, like so. And over here it tells us to enter task DB3 and you name the footer. So task DB3 in the footer, delete this one, and on the other side you write your name. And you save it as file, save as task DB3. Like so. Now, the donation table needs to be linked to the animal and sponsor tables. The donation table contains details of every donation made by sponsors. Each sponsor can make more than one donation. More than one donation can be made for each animal. Create appropriate relationships between the tables. We have to display the relationships on the screen. And of course, take a screenshot and paste it in the Word document. Now, why do we have relational databases? The reason why we have relational databases is that it reduces data redundancy. Okay, so if we had one table, I would have to repeat data. Okay, and therefore that might increase the size of the database. It might mean there are errors with it as well. So by having relationships, it's reducing that redundant. It's reducing that the likelihood of error. Now, to set up relationships, I go to Database Tools, Relationships, and I show the table and I add them all. Now, every table in a relational database has a primary field, okay? And they are indicated by the field that contains a key next to it. That's a unique identifier for that database. Okay. Some tables have a foreign key. These are linked to the other tables, and they are the primary key in the other table, but they're foreign here. They're reliant upon the data in here. So we find the foreign key and we drag to the primary key of the table it's supposed to be. That's the wrong one. Animal to animal. Enforce reference integrity just ensures that no errors can take place. Sponsor to this one, enforce, And then of course I take a screenshot of the relationship and I paste it into the Word document. And in the Word document, on the PDF, it says label the screenshot to identify the primary key in one of the relationships. Well, that's easy. I just have to go down and using the arrow, I point to one of the keys and I can say primary key. Likewise, I could do the same for the foreign key. I'll do it for this one here. This is the foreign key, like so. And I could just, going back, it says resave print on one side of A4. So that's on one side, Control S, and then just go print. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.